Follow your favorite drivers if you're right at the track. Live stats, leaderboards, driver and team communications, and more. All on your devices. It's available now for an all-new low price when you visit NASCAR.com/Strad/RaceView. 5 races to go until the chase. Watkins Glen, an almost 2.5-mile road course, left-right elevation changes, then off to the half-mile short track. But high banks at Bristol, anything can happen. Then the high speeds at the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway. And the rule change, the rule package for Michigan will make for interesting racing, as does Darlington, the historic Darlington racetrack, and then Richmond, that 3/4-mile short track. Before the chase begins, 16 drivers with an opportunity for the championship. Marty.
And Rick, one of those, the guy on the screen right now, Chris Buescher, obviously the winner of Pocono last weekend, trying to make his way into the top 30 in the championship standings, currently 6 points outside of that. We told you in the first practice session today that one of the things that might help this race team out at Front Row Racing is the fact that they'll have full Roush Fenway support for these final regular season races. That means engineering support, body support, chassis, for everything they need, they'll have it from Roush Fenway Racing. I just talked to Chris Buescher about that. He said, absolutely, that's going to help our team out. He said, we always have that support at the bigger racetracks, 1.5-mile racetracks and up. But it'll really help us this weekend. It'll help us at Bristol in a couple of weeks and Richmond in a couple of weeks after that. So that's going to be a huge help to this 34 team having that full Roush Fenway support, guys.
Yeah, I think you cannot forget that Osborne, the crew chief on this 34 car, he worked at Roush for years and years. And so he knows every engineer. He knows every crew chief. He is definitely involved in that company. So perhaps as important as the cars and the equipment, the ability to interact and exchange information with those other teams, that's where I think the big help comes.
And I really appreciate Roush Fenway's openness to commit to Front Row, because when you look at the chase standings, look at an 18th. Trevor Bayne has a legitimate shot of making the chase, only 28 points behind the cut line. But remember, those 28 points are going to grow if Chris Buescher can get into the top 30. So as he moves up, that makes Trevor Bayne really 19th in points. So while they're committing to help the 34 car, it could actually be hurting the opportunity for Trevor Bayne.
And remember, this is a wild card race as well. Watkins Glen. You could have someone come out of Watkins Glen, play the strategy just right, and make their way into the chase as well.
And not just here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., statistically, his best track all year long is Bristol. Going to Bristol coming up. We've seen crazy things happen at Bristol, Jeff. You could have a fuel strategy. You could have anything happen at that little half-mile short track. You get a unique winner there, a unique winner here. And that chase standings is we talked about it, though. In Daytona in February, everyone knew how stressful the summer was going to be. Well, we're here, and the stress is going up.
And everybody that is in that bubble spot is watching this car, because of all the guys that are trying to get in the chase that have not already won a race, this has to be the team that is the favorite of those teams to win this race. We've seen how fast A.J. Allmendinger is. You see how well he qualifies. He won here in 2014. Can they have a mistake-free race? Can they have the speed? Can they have a mistake-free race? Not let the pressure get to them, but all eyes in the garage is on this race car.
And I feel A.J., he was just so disappointed over the radio so many times in practice. We just need him to relax. He needs to enjoy the moment. When you ride along, I love this shot over his right shoulder heading into the Mustang.
Well, we're going to go 180 mile an hour down the back straightaway on a road course. The thing about road courses being tight turns and twists. Well, this road course is the super speedway of road courses. You have these long straightaways, long corners, not a lot of tight corners like Sonoma. Sonoma is a road course that is very, very tight, very technical. This racetrack, long straights, wide corners, much, much faster, more grip than Sonoma. They're two, even though they're road courses, they're two completely different types of road courses.
And I like this lap. Very in control, Rick. We saw earlier over all the curves, out of control. Right here, the car is very straight, very consistent. It might not be the fastest lap on the board, but the idea is to just run consistent laps. That moves them up. That's his fastest lap in practice so far. That moves them up to 7th on the board.
Listen, this is a relatively short race, but when you're driving the race car, it lasts forever. Because on a road course, there's so many opportunities to make a mistake. There's so many places that you can do something that completely ruins your day. You you can be running third with 2 to go and finish 29th. I mean, it's just that kind of racetrack. So you need to be able to make speed while in control. The guys that have to make speed out of control, it's hard to do that for the entire race.
A couple guys that are on the Chase bubble, part of Chip Ganassi's team. Get a little insight on that program from Marty.
Jamie McMurray would be one of those, Rick, right now 9th fastest on the speed chart, always known as a pretty good road course racer. Well, how does he feel about Watkins Glen this time around? Take a listen.
Yeah, I overdrove for him a little, so I definitely gave him a couple tenths there. And then, like, dude, yesterday, it did feel like he more grip than racetrack. The bus stop, like, I think it's so good over the curve. Like, it hit the curve, and like, the car turning, I just kind of bounced over him. Probably around 3 or 4 tenths through the bus stop. I think the carousel felt horrible, just not real quick through there, not a lot of grip. And then I thought I maybe overslowed the car a little bit turn 6, and I thought turn 7 I did a good job. A little bit loose off, I thought I did a good job there.
A lot of ways to dissect this racetrack, also a lot of ways to lose and pick up time as well. Now for his teammate Kyle Larson, remember a moment ago, he spun actually a while ago, and I want to show you these tires that came off Kyle Larson's car to show you exactly how hard they are. Of course, they're gone now, but the tires were so hard here for Kyle Larson's race team that when he spun, they actually did not flat spot, believe it or not. Normally when you have a spin like that, the tires will show a flat spot, but the tire Goodyear's brought to the racetrack this weekend so hard, it did not flat spot when Kyle Larson spun a moment ago.
Yeah, remember this, whenever you have a repave, Goodyear has to bring a tire that can last the run. And when you have the repave and you have so much grip, Goodyear is forced to bring a tire that is harder, that is tougher, that's more durable. And that's the difference. That's why this tire, as opposed to older tires here, will, don't flat spot and don't take off as fast, on the beginning of a run. You used to come here in your second lap. First, second lap was always the fastest. We're not seeing that today. We're seeing it move later into the run, mainly in race trim. In qualifying trim, we see some guys who got to run fast, but in race trim, it's a little further into the run before you make your fastest lap down.
Kyle Larson struggled with turn number 1 this time. Looks like he'll get through it okay. We look at the top speeds from Watkins Glen. This final practice, Mark Chezz Jr. on top.